We're about to start. So she doesn't want to be on. Hello and welcome to A Lot of Help with James Lott Jr. And I'm James Lott Jr. here on JLJ Media, my online network. I love talking to people who invent things, but things that are actually life-saving. Everyone chokes. Choking is something that happens to all of us at one point or another. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but it does happen. Happens in kids, especially. And I'm so glad this person came up with something to help with that, to help parents and guardians and teach everybody who handles that with this. And I'm very excited to have him on because this is it's a very, very life-saving thing. So I'm going to try to get this correctly. It's a patented, easy to use, peer-reviewed, life-saving device that was designed to offer the safest method, let's say safest method of aspirating a choking child or adult. And it's being recommended by hundreds of doctors, medical professionals. So we're going to talk to him about how he came up with this idea, this concept, this life-saving device, what it actually does, what it can mean for you. Help me welcome Arthur Lih. Hi, Arthur. How are you?
Hey, thank you. Like I said, thank you so much for having me on. You know, the ability to spread the word on the danger and that there is a solution. It's a life mission, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
My pleasure. So I've never asked this from somebody who's invented something. I'm just curious for you. Did you ever think you would invent something? Did you ever think that you would create something that wasn't there already? Did you ever think that would be your life?
You know, I guess maybe this was more of really a foundational need. You know, I had heard of a child the same age as my daughter, 7 year old, that choked to death. Uh, the the procedures, chest compressions, abdominal thrusts, and back slaps didn't work, and the child died. And I said that seems like a ridiculous way in this day and age for someone to die. And then, I found out how common it's one child every 5 days, 5,000 plus a year, fourth leading cause of accidental death. And I said, I have to protect my daughter. It's my job. So, it was really based on the absolute need, no fail, desire to be able to save her. And then what kind of man would I be if I just saved my child? So then began the long, arduous path of bringing it out there so everyone could save their child.
So so this is very fascinating. This is great. I'm glad you stopped us there. It's perfect. So what was the first step? Like people are thinking, well, how do you mean? We all come up with ideas, right? We all have an idea about something and then they don't know how to start. So what was your first step?
Well, the first thing I did was start researching I actually was hoping I could just buy something. And the
Okay.
problem was that there are suction devices like that, but they have these tubes and they're more for professional use. And I felt as a father, I would be panicking. So I researched, nothing existed that I felt comfortable using. I looked at how much force, how much it was stuck, why the Heimlich doesn't always work. And then I just set out a criteria that had to be super simple, easy to use, inexpensive, and dummy proof. It's a plunger. You push it, you pull it, and it comes out. And so you set your criteria, and then you go about experimenting. I made a bunch of weird things that didn't work or got too complicated, I should say. And then one night I went to Home Depot. I said it's plumbers plumbers unclog pipes. So let me go look at what plumbers use. And that was the foundational philosophy that I needed something simple to unclog a pipe. And that's what I did.
I like what you said. You're like, okay, one, did some research. Of course, we're like, go on Amazon, like we all do. Let's go and see they have it, that kind of thing. You go on Amazon, you check
Yeah.
around, you didn't see it. Number two, you were like, you put yourself in that position first. You're like, we need something for the lay person, for the parent, the panicked parent, for the regular person who might actually
Right.
handle this. So you did, that was number two. You're like, I got to do something like that. Number three, you start relating it to other things. You went, okay, plungers and this, and I mean these kind of suction things. That's very, to me, that's very smart. And also just very, like, you said, thinking like a parent. And that's
You
right.
recapped it perfectly.
Oh, he come back. There he is. He said, everybody says this is regular technical stuff. That's how this works. Yeah, so like I said, you said, yeah, we capped it. Basically, those three things are first. And I think that's so interesting for people. That's a really great thing. So then you went to Home Depot, you gained some ideas. Like then I mean, you said it's a long, arduous process. We know you didn't just wake up and all of a sudden there it was. And without giving so many details, how'd you get from there to actually having a prototype?
Well, I just kept making them. Luckily, I have a friend Mike who is really a sharp, talented guy as far as building and craftsmanship, and we toyed with it. The valve was the big part to make sure that it vented safely every time, fail safe. My dad worked on the space program, so I had it drilled in me about reliability. It had to work, and it couldn't have any failure in the valve. So that took the most time. But I'm a handy person, so I was able to make it in my shop, on my saw and route it and what. And we probably made about 50 of them till we got it right. And then it was testing and mass production.
Wow, that's really cool. So how did it feel when you had that, when you finally had it? What was that feeling like? When you go, we've got it. We've got it.
Well, the funny part is the first feeling was, oh God, you know, tired, and I knew that it was going to be a humongous task. So I was torn because it's my life and my daughter was safe, but I couldn't live with not helping other parents. So it's odd that I would say that the first feeling was, oh God, this is going to be impossible. But when you think of your love of your child and have the tragedy of a child choking in your arms and dying, it wasn't that hard. It just knew I was going to need to sacrifice another decade of my life plus. And once I realized that, then it was easy in the sense of just keep going. You can't fail. You have to succeed. And I did. And, then we saved our first life and it was all worthwhile.
Now looking behind you says 100 lives saved on 1/21/21. So that's
Yeah.
very interesting. Wow, it's very interesting.
Yeah, that was the child too. It's kind of cool that the 100 save was a child. I mean, we're coming up on 200 saves now. 75 children are alive because my sink plunger and determination. I'd say anyone out there that if your goal is worthwhile, just forget about all the problems and do it. You know, if indeed the rainbow, this child, and all the ones on this wall, then whatever happens doesn't matter. Just keep going.
Okay, so what exactly is in the kit that you get? So someone says, I want one. You have a home kit and you have a travel kit, which I think is very smart. Because you're traveling with your children. I mean, you're traveling with your children, or yourself. You're traveling with yourself. So what do you get in the home kit?
Well, I designed it to with all the ethics I possibly could. So the home kit covers your whole family, whether it's a child or an adult. It comes with a child mask, an adult mask. It comes with a practice mask because I encourage you to be comfortable with it, even though it's simple. And many people have saved lives never looking at it. So you get a home kit is practice, adult and child. Um, some instructions, some prevention tips, because obviously if we're a little more conscious with the foods and the situations, maybe we don't have an incident. It lasts forever. That was my dad made me think that way. Not a real good business plan. People don't like that in the business world, but they can go somewhere else. So I made it last forever, and super simple, easy to use, one little kit.
Yeah, that's very cool. And the travel kit's the same, right? It's the same. It's basically what makes it different.
We just dumbed down the travel kit without the practice mask and some of the additional prevention literature. The hope is you have your home kit, and it came about from a child that got saved by the parent who had the home kit and took it with them and almost couldn't find it when they were unpacking when they needed it. So I came up with it. It just has the two masks and the emergency use, and it's a little travel bag. My hope is that people keep that, in their car or somewhere else, and always keep your home kit at home. So God forbid, it's not in your husband's car in your home and it's at work.
Glad you said that. Yes, I
Yeah.
was like, well, get several of them. Have one at home. Have one at and just have them nearby. It's just in case wherever you have your kids, have them nearby. Wherever you yourself, have it nearby. Have it in your car, in your
Well,
trunk of your car. I mean, you have one.
this cool story. I have details today, but I found out about it yesterday. A mother she kept her travel kit with her. She was at a park in Orlando, and another family's 3-year-old choked. So this woman doesn't even know him. They Everything was tried; it wasn't successful. She took her life back and saved another mother's 3-year-old, another parent's 3-year-old child. And that's the second time that I'm aware of where someone who had it for themselves saved someone else. And to me, that's like the greatest gift. That means our people in this world are still good. There are heroes, there are
Yes,
parents who care. And she jumped in and saved that other mother's child. So that's a sign of people still being good, and why it's good to have it. You may save your kid, you may save someone else's kid.
hmm lifeback.net is so you can actually see demonstrations. I mean, some people know they're like, I guess some people are very visual. They like to see how it's done,
Oh
make
yeah,
it up. So you go there. You can go there, correct? You can just go there and look at it too, right?
I just did it. I mean, that popping noise is what you do. You place it, push and pull it, and it sucked the snot out of your nose and everything.
Just easy, folks, like that. And they're also on Instagram at life_vac. You can go there too and see what's going on there. I just think this is a great. Thank you for doing this. It's such a great service to our community, to human life. It's just such a wonderful thing that you've done. You created that you filled a need that was needed. It was not nothing was on the market. You filled it. That to me that just says that's something positive. Means you're a good person. That's something positive. So thank you, Arthur, for doing that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. The joy of saving these people and this children is indescribable. And that story where that mother saved another mother. We need that now. We all got to stick together and care. And that's why I did it. It was to save children, and the gift is those stories. The child's alive, another human being helped another human being. All right, let's go. Let's get back on track with that.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I totally agree with that. So they can find these kits, obviously lifefact.net. Where else can they find them?
I mean, that's the best way to get it. We have a
Okay.
bunch of trainers out there that train CPR and offer it
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of the class.
Mhm.
The most efficient way to keep the price down is just internet sales.
Yeah.
You don't have to have massive inventory out there. I try to keep the price as low as I can so that it's affordable to as many as I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, lightback.net, or contact us. Obviously, if you need a bunch of them or you're a school and you can't afford it, I'll give it to you. I don't care.
Very good. I like that. Thank you, Arthur, for being on the show. I'm James Lott Jr. It's a lot of help. We're here to help people. That's what Arthur is doing. He's out there to help people. Like I said, if you're a school, a church, a community center, parents, whoever, just contact them. Go over there, check out lifeback.net. That's LIFEVAC.net. You can follow us on JLJ Media everywhere, and please share this with anybody you think needs to see this. Anybody, seriously, anybody needs to see this. We're gonna pass along ourselves to everyone. Again, we're a community. We're all part of the same village, so we get to look out for each other. Everyone, please
Yeah.
have a great, yeah, right.